When I was in grade school, most kids got the hot lunch for 25 cents a day. I really wanted to be like most kids. I coveted the American chop suey with green Jell-O and whipped topping for dessert, the sloppy joes, the Hungarian goulash, but alas, I couldn't have any of it. Unlike most other kids, unlike most other families in Leominster, Massachusetts, my family kept kosher, so I brought my lunch. My mother made me tuna fish sandwiches and fluffernutters, but mostly tuna. That was before we worried about rationing our intake of mercury-contaminated fish. In fact, it was probably before we'd poisoned the tuna population to such toxic levels. Be that as it shouldn't be. Day after day, I sat in the lunchroom, surrounded by the sweet smells of hot franks and beans, or whatever was the gourmet offering du jour, and I unwrapped my tuna sandwich. It might not have been so bad. I didn't mind the taste of tuna, but I could not stand mayonnaise. The look of it, the texture, the sliminess. So when I was 12, I finally got up the nerve to ask my mother to please not put mayo in my sandwich. It needs it to hold it together, she said. So I proposed a compromise. How about if you put mayo on the tuna, but you don't spread it on the bread? Okay, she said. And I thought we had a deal. The next day, I go to school, sit down in the lunchroom, pull out my sandwich, and to my horror, there is mayo slathered all over the bread. I am just livid. I cannot believe she would do this to me. As soon as I get home from school, I confront her. Mom, why was there mayo on the bread of my sandwich? It needs it to hold it together, she says, as if for the first time. But you promised the sandwich needs it to hold it together. I guess it's what you'd call gaslighting now. But whatever you call it, I was just devastated that she could be so oblivious or indifferent to the betrayal. I really did, and still really do, dislike mayonnaise, but it was about more than the sandwich. No matter how loud I hollered, it felt like she had me on mute. At around that time, like every other 12-year-old girl I knew, I received a diary for my birthday. I filled page after page with the same 3-word sentence. I hate her, 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 I hate her. Now, I grew up in the kind of family where it went without saying that we all loved each other. Literally, no one in my family ever said, I love you, to anyone else in my family. But we all did, and we still do, and that included my mother and me. But I also really, really hated her with a passion, and it didn't let up. Years later, when I was in my 40s, I was visiting my parents in Leominster. I should mention that for close to 30 years, I was a mediator with the federal government. I tried to help people have hard conversations about environmental disputes. Anyway, on this particular visit to Leominster, my mother asked me a question about myself, and I started to answer, but within about 2 seconds, she had drowned me out and was talking about something else. I just erupted in frustration and screamed, "You're not listening to me. You never listen to me. I have spent so many decades not being listened to by you that I had to go out and make it my full-time job to get people to listen to each other." She let me finish, and then without missing a beat, she said, "How wonderful, I helped you find your career." I used to fantasize about the big blowout scene I'd have with my mother where I'd detail her lifetime of crimes against me. She'd acknowledge what a terrible mother she'd been and beg for my forgiveness. I, of course, would take the high road and tell her not to give it another thought. Needless to say, that conversation never took place. But during the last of my mother's many battles with cancer, I did make my peace with her. And the funny thing is, we didn't have any conversation. I mean, we had lots of conversations, but none of them were about us. They were about her potato leek soup recipe, or whether President Bush, or that moron, as she referred to him, was taking us into Iraq, or how grateful she felt, or lucky she felt, that she had such good medical care. I knew she was terrified, but she was determined to maintain her dignity. Every day, my father and I were there, and every day she was brave. At least as far back as my school lunchroom days, I've understood the power of listening, but I might have underestimated the power of showing up. I never got the sandwich I asked for, but I always got a sandwich, and it was one that was made to hold together. Thank you.